All right, I got a couple things here. I've got a proclamation I'd like to read. Whereas the city of Winona in the state of Minnesota has significant interest in the continued vitality of general aviation, aircraft manufacturing, aviation educational institutions, aviation organizations, and community airports. And whereas general aviation and the Winona Municipal Airport have an immense economic impact on the city of Winona, and whereas Minnesota is home to 135 public system airports which serve 12,890 pilots and 5,679 registered and airworthy aircraft. And whereas Minnesota is home to 109 fixed base operators, 50 repair stations, 83 heliports, 12 FAA approved pilot schools, 2,805 student pilots, and 2,714 flight instructors. And whereas general aviation in Minnesota contributes over $5.3 billion to the state's total economic output, and whereas general aviation not only supports Minnesota's economy, it improves overall quality of life by supporting emergency medical and health care services, law enforcement, firefighting, and disaster relief, and by transporting business travelers to their destinations quickly and safely. And whereas the nation's aviation infrastructure represents an important public benefit and congressional oversight should be in place of this system to ensure that it remains a public system and serves communities of all sizes. Now therefore, I, Mayor Mark Peterson, Mayor of the City of Winona, do hereby proclaim general aviation a vital strategic resource to the City of Winona and declare November as General Aviation Appreciation Month in the City of Winona, Minnesota. I'd also like to just say a huge thank you to the announced and released design for the Fastenal office building that's going to be built down. Am I missing something here?
Yes.
Not yet.
We have all become different people tonight.
I'm right.
I think it's just the women who are wrong.
Yeah, I have a hard enough time sometimes.
At least we got the gavel this time.
Yeah.
We're making progress. So.
Okay.
You gotta pass yours down, Eileen.
I was like, why is everyone looking at
I'm
me?
sorry. I was like, oh, I'm over there today.
Heads will roll.
We need some humor.
Beatings will continue.
I just want to say thank you to Fastenal for making the commitment they're making to downtown Winona and to the Winona community with their new office building. And it's an exciting time for Fastenal and I think for the city of Winona. Also, I want to say thank you to everybody that was involved in the Masato visit. It went very well. A lot of people worked very hard to make it happen, and it's just a wonderful program, and I know that all of our visitors were impressed by the hospitality. And also, tomorrow, if you're not aware of it, and if you live in District 4 of the school district, there is a ballot. People are voting tomorrow in District 4. Gene Nelson, who stepped down, there was a replacement appointed, and an election is being held tomorrow. So if you're in District 4, exercise your right to vote. And also, just in case you're wondering, we have a journalism student from Winona State in the back by the name of Madeline, who wanted to film tonight's council meeting. So that's who she is. And welcome. And that's all I have. City manager?
So there's a record of the.
Yeah.
It's permanent.
I just wanted to let the council know and thank Holly Hines for her 12 years working for the city. Holly has decided to move on and take a job in the private sector. She worked down in the Park and Rec department. We'll miss her greatly. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Roll call?
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Councilman Thurley.
Here.
Moeller.
Here.
Alexander.
Here.
Iden.
Here.
Borzakowski.
Here.
Scholmeyer.
Here.
Under the petitions, requests, and communications, item 3.1 is St. Matthew's street closure request for June 7th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Eileen. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 3.2 is a request by the Women in Business to hold a 5K on February 8th.
Move to approve that request.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Under new business, item 5.1 is the VEH access easements.
Make
I
a
motion
motion.
to accept the easements.
Second.
Motion by George, seconded by Michelle. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 5.2 is the Emerald Ash Borer Community Forest Response Tree Planting Grant.
Make a motion to submit the application.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Eileen. Any discussion? Michelle?
John, can you tell us who the in-kind donation is from? It seems like a large donation. Is that out man-hours? What is it, $21,532? I think people should know that if people are making a large donation of that kind, we should thank them for making this possible.
Mayor and Council, that is primarily staff time. There is going to be some volunteers who will be looking after trees. That's our hope, is to put boulevard trees, and the folks who live nearby would water them. And so there will be a significant contribution there to keep those trees healthy and happy. So there is some of that. We can't name those people yet because we haven't found the place to put those trees, but we certainly are going to be grateful once we find them.
Thank you, John. Al?
Yeah, John, I do have a couple of questions on the application. Just a clarification, when I'm reading it, I'm going that in the project timeline, you've got April 2020 to receive the trees, and then there's a phrase in there that says, sweat oak trees. And I'm just curious about, I read up on it, I knew some trees do sweat, but I'm just curious as to your explanation for this.
Sure. Yeah, I don't exactly know where the term comes from. Basically, to get oak trees and certain other trees activated in the spring.
Okay.
When they're bare root species, they don't. Or if they're bare root specimens, they don't necessarily wake up like other trees. So we put them under a plastic wrap and get them heated up, and it's kind of like a tree sauna.
Okay.
So yes, that's just
I've
part of
learned
what we're going to
something
do.
here, thank you. Also on the application, your project impacts on priority populations. You're talking about Winona being in an area determined by the MPCA to be environmental justice areas of concern because of low income levels and diversity in first languages. Can you kind of explain what that means?
I can try. The
Okay.
Minnesota Pollution Control Agency has done a statewide assessment, I think basically based on census tract,
Okay.
and they've evaluated based on income level, first language, and I believe there's another category that we don't actually fit with,
Okay.
but it is, or as a minority population. That's the other
So this
category.
is another part of the application that
Yes.
you
so
would
they-
have to respond to,
Yeah,
okay.
they are seeking to work in areas of those concern that the
Okay.
MPCA has identified, and much of the central core of Winona downtown Highland area is within those
Oh,
districts.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. I support this, by the way, so.
Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Carries.
Item 5.3 is the Clearway Community Solar Garden Estoppel Certificate.
Make a motion to execute the estoppel certificate and allow Clearway to date the document as requested.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by George. Any discussion?
I have
Paul?
a question. So, John, I'm guessing you're involved with this, and so just, and maybe Chris, I mean, so this looks like some legalese. So can we get some explanation of what a stop is?
For banks like to have estoppel agreements. Essentially what this says is you're gonna stay doing the agreements that you've already agreed to sign and execute. I personally think it's kind of silly, but this is what banks do. So it is a routine thing that they do, and it says that you're going to continue to abide by the agreements that you've already signed.
So there's no change? The bank is just asking for this?
That's, as I understand it, yes, this is part of their financing process.
This is because Clearway is getting funding from a bank. So the bank wants some qualification that we're not going to back out and the funding
Correct.
is guaranteed.
Yes.
I mean, that's all it is. It's like, instead of having cash in hand, they have to prove that we are
Yeah.
not going to back out of our agreement.
Yeah, before they're gonna lend the money, they wanna make sure that you're gonna abide by the commitments that you've made.
Very well. Thank you, and John too.
Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
Let's start with George.
Okay, thank you. Just one announcement. Tomorrow evening at 6:30 PM at the Sobieski Park Lodge down on East 7th Street, Steve Buswell will be there from the Winona County Jail, and he will be discussing the new jail options and what the plans are as that project moves forward. So it's 6:30 tomorrow night, Sobieski Park Lodge, and hope everyone can attend. There was a presentation given to the council on the jail, and it'll kind of be a repeat of that, but there's a lot of good, valuable information. If you have questions on the jail, there'll be the place to be tomorrow night, 6:30. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Paul?
November 16th, that's a Saturday, 3 PM. Pedal for the People is having another ride through town. I believe they're going to do the Huff Street route and end up at Wellington's. And it's open to the public. Come and ride with us. Cyclists with a lot of gear, a lot of lights. Looking to do a ride, another ride on some of the streets, bike routes, and raise some money for charities like they always do every month. Yeah.
What time and when does it start?
Meet at the Levy Park at 3 PM.
Thanks.
Okay, ma'am.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Michelle?
I'm just going to mirror what the mayor said. The Masato group had a great time. All of the participation from the city staff, especially Leslie Dalkey, who plans the welcome, was well received. And I think the mayor and the two council members that were here had a spectacular time. So thank you, council, for helping make that possible.
Eileen?
Just a reminder that as people are doing holiday shopping, there's a bunch of shop small stuff going on in the month of November. So downtown, there's a third Thursday night out on the 21st. And there's a lot of participating businesses downtown here, and so that's to get people out and about from 4 to 8 PM. And then at the end of the month is Small Business Saturday. And speaking of small businesses, I've had a few people ask about our food truck ordinances. What do we need to do to look at those? Just a question.
Well, we can take
can
another
bring
look
some
at them.
options
Okay,
forward.
thank you.
If council's,
I would agree with that. I've been hearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I concur with other people on council about the Masato group and how people in Winona have welcomed them, again, wonderfully, so appreciate that. And then coming up a week from today is Veterans Day, so we salute veterans and the respect that those folks have for their service. It's also my wife's birthday a week from today, so I won't be able to wish her a birthday wish at a prior meeting except this one, so happy birthday to her. I had a constituent who asked me about, he enjoys the dog park on Prairie Island. He thinks it's great, and other people that he meets out there with their pets have also enjoyed that. He was asking about whether or not there could be perhaps in the future a shelter created for just either out of the heat in the summer or just for people to get away from just the open area of the park itself. So I'm passing that along to city staff to see if we can't look at that in the future to do that. And then also sympathy to the Grace Reed family. Grace passed away yesterday on Sunday. She was a neighbor when I grew up in that particular part of town. She worked at the driver licensing bureau for many years. Her husband was Bruce Reed Sr., who worked for the city for many years, and of course Bruce Reed Jr., that's his mom and all the other Reed boys, if you will. So sympathy to their family on her passing.
Okay, thank you.
And under the consent agenda, there is one item, The approval of the minutes from October 21st.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Al, seconded by Michelle. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Mayor, I move we adjourn at 6:45.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Adjourned.
Marilyn, I think you could have picked a better night.